Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today to talk about WEConnect International Day and the WBENC National Conference and Business Fair coming up this June in Baltimore, Maryland. My name is Rachel Williams. I'm the Corporate Engagement and Project Manager here at WEConnect International. Very glad you could join today for this webinar. Housekeeping notes. There is a mode in which you are all in, which is listen only. So therefore you can hear the audio and you can see my screen, but you are all muted in terms of your microphones. So if you have questions, there is a Q&A section at the very end in which you can submit your questions via the chat box or the question box, and I'll be sure to answer all of your questions during the Q&A session. We will get started in just one moment. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that a few more people could join us before we start the agenda. Please note that this is being recorded, so if you do miss out on part of it or have to drop off the call, we will record it and share it at a later moment. So today's webinar will include a few things. We'll cover the basic logistics of International Day and the WBENC National Conference and Business Fair. We'll review the agendas for both events, and we'll discuss how to prepare and what to expect from the events. And as I mentioned, there'll be a Q&A at the very end. So to start at the very beginning, let's talk a little bit about WEConnect International and what this event is. Hopefully you are familiar with us because you're either self-registered or certified by WEConnect International. But in case you're not familiar with what we do, WEConnect International was founded 10 years ago by a group of corporations who are seeking to grow their supplier diversity program outside of the United States. So since our inception, we have been working with corporations that operate around the world by supporting them in their goals to buy more from women-owned businesses. So not only do we support the corporate buyers in their goals of supporting women-owned businesses, we help our women suppliers by building their capacity, conducting training programs, and bringing more market access to women suppliers around the world. And we do this through our events, our webinars, and through our certification program in which we verify that businesses are indeed 51% owned, managed, and controlled by one or more women. And so this certification standard that we use is recognized around the world as the kind of gold standard for certification. And where the basis of this certification standards and procedures came from is WBENC, which sounds like a funny name. It's an acronym for the Women Business Enterprise National Council. And so just to clarify, because there can be some confusion, we are two different organizations. We are having two different events, so therefore there's two registrations. And how these two organizations are related to each other is WBENC, the Women Business Enterprise National Council. They were founded in 1997 by the same corporations that founded WEConnect International with the effort of supplying more from women-owned businesses. WBENC's focus is companies that are headquartered within the United States. So we provide the same certification as WBENC, but we provide it for women-owned businesses who are headquartered outside of the United States. And because of this, we are two different organizations. We have obviously many member companies in common. And we have a shared mission of supporting women-owned businesses in gaining more market opportunities and access to corporations. So really these two events that we have are to serve that mission and that purpose. And so the two events occur during the same week as a kind of balance to each other. One is more focused on international supplier diversity topics, and one is more focused on US-based topics, but both are amazing events and wonderful opportunities to connect with women business owners from around the world, as well as representatives from corporations who are members of WEConnect International and WBENC. So just the basic logistics, the who, what, when, where. So both events are taking place in Baltimore, Maryland. If you're not familiar, Baltimore is about an hour north of Washington, D.C. It's about 3 hours south of New York City, and it's about 2 hours south of Philadelphia. And so the WBENC National Conference and Business Fair, which you'll see abbreviated here as NCBF, will be taking place Tuesday through Thursday at the Baltimore Convention Center. And WeConnect International Day takes place on Monday, June 4th at the Baltimore Marriott Inner Harbor at Camden Yards. Now, both of these locations are within the same neighborhood. They're in walking distance from each other. Everything's pretty convenient in downtown Baltimore. It's fairly easy to navigate, and you shouldn't have any trouble walking from one to the other. So when thinking about these two events, as I said, they're two events, two registrations, but who should be attending these events? Both are open to WeConnect International certified WBEs, as well as self-registered women-owned businesses. We certainly welcome WBENC certified WBEs, meaning women-owned businesses that are headquartered in the United States. And of course, we encourage all of the members of WeConnect International to attend International Day. And this is an opportunity for the supplier diversity professionals, as well as buyers and procurement representatives, to meet with the delegations of women business owners that come to International Day. So as you can see, there's a wide variety of attendees from both the US and outside, and it's a really wonderful networking opportunity. In terms of just travel logistics of coming to Baltimore, there are several airports in the area, and this is a common question we've received, so I just want to make sure I put it out there. The closest airport to Baltimore, downtown Baltimore, is the Baltimore Washington International Airport, which is BWI. Then there are two airports that are in the Washington, D.C. metro area. Dulles International Airport is in Dulles, Virginia, and Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, DCA, is in Washington, D.C. And so Dulles is about a 2-hour drive to downtown Baltimore. Reagan is probably about an hour, and BWI is maybe 20-minute drive to downtown Baltimore, which all of these events are taking place. And something to think about logistically if you are planning to attend these events, if you're required to have a visa to enter the United States, WeConnect International will certainly assist in the visa letter process. We just ask that you register for WeConnect's International Day first. If you then can contact the appropriate market lead for your country to let them know that you would like a visa invitation letter, we can assist in the process of accomplishing that. And of course, we recommend that when you travel to Baltimore that you bring that letter, you bring your event registration and your hotel registration with you, as well as supplemental documentation. If you have more questions about the visa letter process and registering for the event and how we can assist with that process, please feel free to reach out to the local market lead in your area who will assist you in that process. So let's talk about International Day on Monday, June 24th. For those of you who have not been before to International Day, WeConnect hosts this one-day amazing event that goes from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and lunch in the middle of the day, and then we have a reception in the evening. And so as you can see from the agenda, we have a mix of activities and topics. This year, rather than doing panels, we're featuring lightning talks in the morning and the afternoon. And these talks are highly specialized, targeted topics that are being presented on by experts in their field. It's a variety of women business owners, as well as corporate member representatives. So you can see here the topics of the lightning talk sessions. It'll be really wonderful to hear from these experts. And in addition to those lightning talk sessions, we have what we call roundtable discussions, which is basically like matchmaking. So if you're familiar with the concept of matchmaking, it's what I like to joke is almost like speed dating with corporations. So each corporate representative who is in attendance for International Day will have a table that is marked with their company name. And women business owners in attendance will have an opportunity to move around, basically play musical chairs, and sit at the different tables of the corporate members to pitch their company, to learn about how to do business with that corporation, and connect with the other women business owners at their table. So it's a timed event in which you have a certain allotment of time to sit at that table, and then you will move on to another table. The alternative during that time is for any women business owners that are not certified by WEConnect or WBENC. They will participate in an alternative session at that particular time called Maximizing the WEConnect International Network. And what that is, that's for self-registered women business owners or not certified women business owners to learn more about WEConnect International and how we can support you in your goals of connecting with corporations and other women business owners. So those will be happening at the same time, right before lunch. And then we have lightning talks in the afternoon. And finally, we have business matchmaking between women-owned businesses. So right now we have over 75 women business owners, probably over 80 women business owners at this point, attending International Day. And this is a special opportunity for the women business owners to connect with each other. No corporates involved, it's just fostering meaningful opportunities between the women business owners in our network, as well as the WBENC network. So we will conclude at 3 p.m. That gives you a little bit of time to maybe go back to your hotel room, explore Baltimore a little bit, maybe check in registration at WBENC, and then come back for an evening reception with networking, socializing, cocktails, hors d'oeuvres. It's not a sit-down dinner, it's just a cocktail reception in which women business owners and corporate members will be able to mingle in a more open setting. So it's a great day full of lots of really informative sessions, great networking opportunities, and really invaluable opportunities to talk to people who maybe you wouldn't ordinarily get to interact with. And so thus far, we have a wonderful representation of corporate members attending, with more registering every day. And we have WBEs attending from a variety of countries. We're so excited. I think this is maybe the most we've ever had for International Day thus far. So we certainly hope that you are joining us and that you are representing your country and your region to share the interests, the needs, and the perspective of women business owners from your country. If you know that you're attending but aren't sure who else maybe from your area is attending, please feel free to reach out to us and maybe we can connect you with other attendees to prepare. Maybe you want to share a taxi from the airport, things like that. We'd be happy to connect you with other WBEs who are attending from the country you're traveling from. And I remind you to go check out the webpage for International Day, as that's the location in which we have the agenda updates, if any, and the list of sponsors who are helping us to make International Day a success. So check back there. This link is also what will take you to the registration page if you have not already registered for International Day. The cost for International Day, if you have not already registered, is $2.99 in US dollars, and that is how registration is processed, is through this particular website in US dollars. So after you've had a whole International Day on Monday, the 24th, if you're staying for the WBENC National Conference and Business Fair, it's 3 days worth of activities, and basically how they organize the schedule is Tuesday and Thursday are the conference days, and Wednesday is the business fair. So if you've never been to the WBENC National Conference and Business Fair, I will share with you that it is the largest event of its kind in the United States. There are 13,000 women business owners in the WeBank's national database. And so there are thousands of attendees that come to this conference from all over the United States. And then at the exhibit fair, there's over 500 exhibitor booths that come, and they're predominantly corporations, but some larger women business owner companies have booths at the exhibit fair. And so on Tuesdays and Thursday, like I said, is the conference day, and WeBank is doing something new and innovative this year. They're calling it Business Labs. And I recommend you checking out their website to learn more about the specific topics that are being featured at these business labs. They kind of have different informational tracks. They're kind of innovative and interactive workshops, but they're calling them business labs. And then on Tuesday, there's the luncheon, and then in the evening, the welcome reception that's out in Baltimore. All other activities will be taking place within the Baltimore Convention Center. On Wednesday is the business fair, which, like I said, is the biggest event of its kind. This business fair is huge. Hundreds of exhibitors, lots of women business owners. It's an amazing opportunity to get face-to-face time with representatives from a variety of different corporations. Of course, WEConnect International will have a booth at the fair, so we hope that you'll come by and visit us. We'll have all of our market lead representatives from around the world joining us at the booth. So we really hope you'll come and say hello to us and join us at the booth. There will also be a woman-owned booth at the exhibit fair, which is for any company who has the woman-owned logo printed on their products. There's a booth all dedicated for that. So that's another one I highly recommend you check out. On the WeBank National Conference and Business Fair website, they have a map of the business fair and the exhibit floor, so you can get a sense of the layout, who will be there, and who you might want to meet with. And then the last day of the conference is on Thursday. And Thursday includes matchmaking meetings, the luncheon, as well as the dinner and awards ceremony in the evening. Now, if you're wondering about matchmaking for WeBank National Conference and Business Fair, they require that anyone who wants to be considered for matchmaking must register by April 1st. So if you have not registered for WeBank's National Conference and Business Fair, you cannot be considered for matchmaking. But it's something to keep in mind if you hope to attend in the future, as they do have a registration deadline for when you can be considered for matchmaking meetings. And WeBank tailors their matchmaking meetings to the corporations and the women business owners, meaning that there are one-on-one opportunities for corporations and women business owners to connect, and the corporations select which women business owners they would like to have a matchmaking meeting with. If you have any other questions about that, I'm happy to answer about the matchmaking, but like I said, they do require that you register before a certain date to be considered for that. If you are not participating in matchmaking, there are still the business labs that will be taking place throughout the day. And finally, the dinner and awards ceremony, in which women business owners from the WeBank network will be receiving awards, which is a really fun and exciting event in the evening. So the National Conference and Business Fair website is really informative. It has a lot of really great information. So if you have questions that maybe I can't necessarily answer about the conference, I highly recommend you go to the website to check it out. They have a frequently asked questions page where they can explain any questions related to all aspects of the event, whether it's registration related or exhibitor related, or just general questions you might have about the day. This website is very informative and can help you to understand anything going on that week. So in preparing to come to International Day and WeBank's National Conference and Business Fair, what can you expect? So there are a lot of opportunities that come with attending these very large events. It's a wonderful opportunity to gain new contacts with potential clients and partners. Since we'll have such a great showing of women business owners from around the world, there's a great opportunity to connect and build relationships whether that be business or mentorship or friendship. There's a lovely opportunity to connect with women business owners from your country as well as from countries around the world. And of course, information and knowledge sharing, right? That's why we put on events like this, to share expertise, insights, new trends, things that will help you grow your business and to gain new business opportunities. And so we definitely recommend you come with your mind and your heart ready to absorb lots of helpful information and build long-lasting relationships. So what should you do to get ready? So if you're planning to attend International Day and or WBENC's National Conference and Business Fair, these are the steps that I recommend you take before you come. So do your homework. Look at who's coming to these events and prepare who you'd like to talk to and who you'd like to meet with. So as I mentioned, for International Day, we list the sponsors who will be in attendance. And for WBENC's National Conference and Business Fair, they will have a list of all the exhibitors who will be at the business fair. So I highly recommend prior to attending, you strategize and prepare which corporations do you want to focus your attention on. Because there will be so many opportunities to talk to so many people and attend a variety of different events and things of that nature, you really want to make sure that you're targeted and streamlined in your efforts. So who are the top companies that you want to speak with? I recommend maybe making a priority list, a tiered system. Who are the people you have to talk to? Who are the people that it would be great to connect with? And maybe lastly, third round, who would it be nice to maybe just introduce yourself to? And of course, you have to not only research who you want to talk to, but you have to think about yourself and your company and what is the best way to market yourself to all the people you're about to meet this week. So we certainly recommend that you make sure that your eNetwork profile is up to date. If you have any questions about how to use the eNetwork, I'm more than happy to help you. But you want to make sure that your contact information is up to date. You want to make sure that your capabilities statement is accurately representing the products, services, or goods that you provide. You want to make sure that you can perfect your pitch. Can you summarize what your company does and your core competencies in 2 minutes or less? And of course, you'll be meeting so many people, passing out so many business cards. You want to come prepared with items to share with other people, whether that be business cards, capability statement, any sort of printed collateral that you'd like to share with new people that you're meeting. These are all things to start to prepare and think about before you attend both of these events. So some do's and some don'ts of what to do when you're at WBENC National Conference Business Fair and International Day. Like I said, you want to be able to present your company in 2 minutes or less. Can you imagine how many different women business owners some of these corporate representatives are meeting? You want to make sure you get straight to the point, and you want to make sure that you can explain who you are, what do you sell, and what makes you different. Because of course, you want to make sure that you stand out from all the other people that they're meeting. You also want to make sure that you can communicate your value proposition in a succinct way. So what do you offer in terms of cost, time, and quality? And of course, the companies that you're meeting with are seeking out problem solvers. So it's important for you to understand what can you do to help the companies improve their business. How can you solve the problems that they have? And of course, you need to think about what's in it for you. What will you gain from this business relationship? What can you offer that will support you and also help the corporation to succeed in their goals? And of course, understand that transaction costs are real. Again, these corporations work with many suppliers. It needs to be clear to them, why is it a benefit to utilize you as a supplier? There are costs that are associated with switching from their current suppliers to you. But of course, they're interested in working with women business owners. But it's more than that. What can you provide to them that is better than maybe their current supplier currently offering? So all of these do's are things to keep in mind when you interact with corporate representatives, because here, right on this page, this is what they're looking for when it comes to meeting new women business owners. What's new about your company? What's innovative? What can you provide that they're not already getting? Now on to the don'ts. So, like I said, they are meeting lots of people during the course of this week. So you want to make sure that you're being direct. You don't want to derail from what your main point of focus is. I'm sure all companies have a fascinating history and backstory, but maybe in this time frame, they don't need to hear that. They just need to know what can you do and what is your core competency. Things that derail you from that are not worth their time, and they're not worth your time. So you want to keep focused on the point at hand. This is the counter to the do. You got to do your homework, so obviously don't come unprepared. You have to know what you can offer these businesses. You have to know what the potential customers are looking for. If you were to go up to an exhibitor at the business fair or meet up with a corporation at the International Roundtable, and the first question you ask them is, what do they do? That does not leave a good impression for them. It doesn't show them that you've done your homework. It doesn't show that you're invested in their company or potentially supplying to them. You want to demonstrate that you've done your homework and you know what you're talking about. And while a lot of the corporations attending are very familiar with WEConnect International, they might not know your company, they might not know your business, and they might not know your industry. So be prepared to explain clearly and succinctly what you do and who you are. Pretend like they are new to this conversation and they don't know anything about you or your company or WEConnect. Always be a great ambassador and representative for your company. Additionally, it's not a good idea to promise goods or services that are outside your company's core competencies. I've definitely seen instances in which corporations say that they have a particular need, and the supplier might respond by saying, oh, well, we don't do that now, but we could do that for you. Don't overpromise, don't oversell. Recognize what your company excels at and promote that as much as possible. That will show the corporation that you've got this under control and you are well within your means and capabilities. And lastly, don't push it if it isn't a good fit or opportunity. It's better to accept no for an answer than continue to belabor a point and force a conversation that just doesn't seem right in the instance. Maybe a no is just a no for now. It might not be a good opportunity or a fit at this time, and maybe in the future, it'll be a more appropriate time to revisit this conversation with a corporation. Maybe if you provide cleaning supplies, they don't have a need for that in 2019, but maybe in 2020 they might have a need for cleaning supplies, but at least they'll know who you are and can think of you later. So even though that might be a no for now, you never know in the future what goods or services they might be seeking. And of course, following up. It's important to maintain the relationships with the new contacts that you create during this week, whether that's a fellow women business owner or corporate representative who is in procurement, buying. It's really important to follow up. Lots of business cards will be exchanged, lots of collateral will be passed out. I always recommend to people that when you receive a business card, write on the back of it what you talked about, what were the key highlights of that conversation, and where did you meet them? Because when you go home, it'll remind you, oh, I needed to follow up with them about X, Y, Z. Or we had a really great conversation about something. I'd love to hear more about X, Y, Z. So it's important to go through your business cards or the items that you receive to prioritize your contacts. What is the top tier? You have to follow up with them within a week. Then the next tier, you will follow up, but maybe not so immediately. By prioritizing your contacts, you're saving yourself time and energy of who are the high priority contacts that you need to connect with going forward. And of course, you want to make sure that your new contacts, maybe they're added to your mailing list, they hear from you regularly, and you plan ahead by inviting them to future events that you might be hosting, plan ahead by attending other conferences or events you might know that they're participating in. You don't want to let anything just wither away because there's no follow-up. And a lot of feedback I've heard from women business owners after large events is the buyers or the supplier diversity professionals don't always respond. That might be the case, but they also are receiving many, many emails. So they prioritize how they respond. So you want to make sure that whatever you are sending, sharing, saying, asking is of high priority and high interest to them, so that they know that their response is a good use of their time. So plan ahead on how you want to continue this relationship, and if you don't hear back immediately, what strategies can you employ to ensure a response later on? So some tips for success. Both events, the business casual is the attire. The only exception is the WBENC National Conference Business Fair dinner and award ceremony on Thursday evening. It's more formal. I have seen women in gowns, men in tuxes, but I think cocktail attire is appropriate. That is the more, I would say, fancier of the events during the week, but otherwise the attire is business casual. I definitely recommend packing comfortable shoes. There's going to be lots of standing and walking, particularly if you're going from your hotel to the convention center. The convention center is quite a large place. It's also very air conditioned. So while it will be hot and humid in Baltimore in June, definitely recommend bringing an extra blazer, jacket, or sweater to layer on if it's very cold within the conference centers. Those are just some attire questions simply because we get those quite a bit. But I wanted to make sure that I take time to answer any questions that you might have. So if you can't immediately think of any questions you have, that's fine. You can always reach out to me after the webinar. But you may also ask the question through the chat box or the question. So I have a question about the e-network. So the e-network is the nickname we have given to the WEConnect International database for all of our women business owners. So if you are a self-registered woman business owner, your profile in the e-network is only visible to other self-registered women business owners. If you are a certified woman business owner, you are visible to everybody. So if you're not sure of your status, whether you're self-registered or certified, or if you're not sure about your login information to the e-network, I would recommend emailing myself, or you can email our support for the e-network, which is my colleague Alex Kangas. Either one of us can assist you with e-network connection issues. Basically, you want to make sure that your profile is up to date, meaning that your contact information within the e-network is accurate, so that if anyone needs to contact you after the fact, you're easily searchable in the e-network. So like I said, depending on your registration type, if you're certified or self-registered, that will show you differently within the e-network. But you can find the e-network by going to WeConnectInternational.org, clicking on there's a login button at the top, an e-network login button, and you will be prompted to put in an email address and password. You put in your email address, and if you don't know your password, you can always hit forgot password. Okay, well, I will hold on for any more questions, of course. If you think of anything, just go ahead. So I have another question about the business labs. So the business labs are a component of the WBENC National Conference and Business Fair. You have to register for the National Conference and Business Fair to attend the Business Labs. In terms of registering for WBENC, they do have various ticketing types. So you can register for the whole week, meaning you can register for the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or you can register for just one day. All of those registration types are on their website, the www.conf.webank.org. If you want to register for just one day, you could register just for the business fair, if that's something you desire, or you can register for the entire week, and that would include, if you register for the entire week, that includes all the business labs, all the lunches, and all the dinners. Okay, so I have another great question. You mentioned not to focus on your current customers. I have heard that buyers want to know if you've sold to large corporations in the past, as it helps to validate your products and services. Yes, I agree that it is important to highlight that you have the capabilities to supply to other large corporations in the past. But I don't think that it needs to be the focal point of your message to new potential customers. Definitely it's something that you can feature in your capabilities statement if you would like. But I think that focusing on what your company can do for them is more important than what you've done for other companies. Not to say that it's not important, it's just you want to feature what you can do for them and supplement that by saying, I have done this for other companies such as XYZ. Just reading if there are any other questions. Just as a fun fact, one of the business labs that is being featured during the week is about certification. So there will be some WEConnect International staff at that particular business lab about certification. We hope that you'll join us there at that particular session. But the full schedule of events is also listed on the WBENC National Conference and Business Fair. There are some components of the schedule that they have not yet announced. But if you're interested in learning more about the business labs themselves, I definitely recommend checking out that particular website. Some more questions about the business labs, it looks like. Okay, so basically the labs are in circuits and they're open to the registered attendees, except unless you have, just the Wednesday pass for the business fair. But if you have a full registration, you can attend the business lab circuits. Basically, they cover strategic planning, certification, access to capital, elevating your pitch, building your brand, design thinking, global business, government, wellness, and that's it. So those are the topic areas of the business labs to answer that particular question. So I put up on the very last slide my contact information. Therefore, if you think of any questions that come up after this webinar, I would love for you to reach out to me and ask those questions. I'm more than happy to help. I've been to several WBENC National Conference and Business Fairs before, and I've participated obviously in the organization and execution of International Day, and would be more than happy to share information about either of these events in terms of their agenda, preparation for these events, who's attending, things of that nature. I'm more than happy to help answer any questions that you might have. Again, this is being recorded, so you can always reference it online if you would like. And of course, as always, the market leads in your region are a resource to you. They will all be in attendance of the International Day and the WBENC conference. So we hope that you'll connect with them ahead of time to let them know that you're attending. We love bringing together all of our market leads from around the world, as well as the women business owners who come to join us from around the world as well. Wonderful. So if there are no further questions, we will go ahead and conclude the webinar for today. I thank you for your time and your attention and your participation in this webinar. Feel free to contact me after the webinar if you have any additional thoughts, comments, questions. More than happy to assist. And I greatly look forward to seeing those of you who are attending International Day. Please come and say hello to the whole team, and we look forward to having you join us. Thank you again for your time and your participation. I hope you enjoy your day, whether it be the beginning, the middle, or the end of your day. Thank you so much.